In the last 10 years, things happened that I wish never did. Like 4 times I was dead.
Danny Fernandez is a JUNO-nominated Canadian singer and songwriter who climbed the charts with his R&B and pop music.
His rise to fame was quick.
You were nominated for a Juno alongside Drake and Justin Bieber. What happened from there?
Drugs. The dentist had prescribed me like some painkillers, and I just never took them. They just sat in my cupboard. And then I was in a bad relationship, and I remember taking that one, and that was it, game over. To get away from that shit, bro, was like the hardest thing I ever tried to do.
Why?
Oh, man. My family was called into the hospital saying he's not gonna make it through the night. I had no life. Like I was like a fucking just a body with no soul.
What would you say then to someone currently struggling with addiction?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. We're ashamed to ask for help.
It's a hard thing to ask for help for.
Yeah, because not a lot of people will know how to help you.
Danny, welcome to the Gents Talk podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I know you and I have had this conversation now over the span of, I think, almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
When we first
Something about
connected.
that, yeah.
And wanted to get you on so we can have a conversation just about your journey, because you've been on quite a ride these last few years, this last decade, this last little while.
The last decade.
Between the music career and then family. You've talked openly about your challenges with mental health and addiction and all those things. And I think this could be an opportunity just to have an authentic conversation in long form, because, I mean, you know this better than anybody. Social media is, bite-sized information. It's never really good for anybody.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity just to have a real honest conversation about Danny Fernandez, the man behind the persona. For a long time, anybody who recognizes you knows you as that rising pop star, that R&B star.
Mm-hmm.
And life has, I guess, taken a very different turn from what you perhaps expected when you were at the top of your game. So, where has Danny Fernandez been, let's say, in the last decade? What's the story there?
Oh, man. I've seen a lot of things that I wish I never did, to be honest with you. To be honest, man, the way I see it is that I live 2 different lives. I'm 2 different people. At least I feel. I'm the Danny Fernandez, the singer, songwriter, whatever the case, and then I'm Daniel also. And I feel like I kind of let the Danny take over the whole everything. I mean, at the end of the day, when I was younger, I couldn't imagine the things that happened to me happening, like the success and all those things. Like those are things that I just wished I had, and then eventually they started coming true. And to be honest, bro, in the last 10 years, like I said, things happened that I wish never did, but I can't go back and change that. Things that were out of my control. I don't even know where to start, man. There's so much. Can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So much shit has happened to me in the last 10 years. I'd say maybe 11, 12 years, actually.
Well, why don't we start with, the rise to fame? I mean, if I read it correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were nominated for a Juno alongside Drake and Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
So to get that kind of a nomination really puts everybody on notice. Danny Fernandez has arrived. Your music career is about to take off. What happened from there?
Oh, that was my first year, bro. My first year as an artist, it was 2009. I got nominated for the Junos. And I think this was before Drake or before Bieber. I mean, Drake was there. I think I have a photo with him from the Junos that year. To be honest, that was just the beginning. That was before anything even happened. I had just released like Private Dancer or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And everything after that went upward.
Okay.
Until about like 2013, then it just started going.
What was the catalyst? What happened?
Drugs. It was unexpected, to be honest. Like, I had my teeth done their veneers, and the dentist had prescribed me like some painkillers, and I just never took them. They just sat in my cupboard. And then I was in a bad relationship, and then ended up moving out and taking them with me. And then I was just out of curiosity, just to see what they would do or how I would feel. And I remember taking that one, and that was it. Game over from there. And the dentist doesn't be like, here, you take these pills, you're gonna be fucking addicted to them for the rest of your life. Because if that was the case, and I would have known that, I probably would have never started.
Right.
And everything from that moment on was, my brain just switched. Now everything was about that. I needed that. I needed to find that. How was I gonna get that? Because that was taking everything that I cared about, making me not care about it. Like, I had no fucking cares in the world, bro. Like, if I had that, I was good. I didn't care about anything. Like, you could say whatever the fuck you wanted to say to me. It didn't matter. You couldn't hurt me. I was unfucking touchable. Until it got to the point where it's like I was in denial about the whole thing. I was like, there's no way I have a problem. Like, I don't have a fucking problem. Until it came to the point where I stopped taking it and I got really sick. And then I realized that I had a fucking problem. And then from then on, it was a struggle to get away from that shit, bro. It's like the hardest thing I ever tried to do. And I've been through some shit. Like, to sit on here, I can talk to you for like a whole week about the things I've been through. And it's a lot of, I mean, I did a lot of things that I wasn't happy about or proud of, to be honest. I mean, at the same time, but I knew it wasn't me. Like, the person I am, I would have never done those things. If I'm not going to say I'm putting all the blame on that shit, because realistically it is that shit that made me do all those things that I would have never done if I wasn't using.
Did you ever try to seek help?
Yeah, bro. That's all I did. That's all I do till this day. Bro, I went to 7 fucking rehabilitation centers. 7 of them.
Why didn't they work?
I didn't want them to.
So it was a you thing.
Yeah. I mean, they were giving me the tools that I needed, but I didn't care.
What needed to happen for you to care more?
Little by little, I started losing things, but big things, not like oh, okay, I lost my job. No, it's not a big deal, but like the severity of the losses got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it came to the point where I just I can't do this anymore.
Like what?
Like my life. Well, it was like 4 times I was dead, and I don't know, God, no, he just doesn't want me to go. Like, there was times where like my family was called into the hospital saying he's not going to make it through the night, and here I am today. So it's mind blowing. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not even exaggerating, bro. Like 4 times, like I was gone.
Yeah.
And then even the most fucked up part is that it didn't stop me. It didn't scare me enough. Like, my brain wasn't ready to quit that. This is like something about it I loved so much that I just didn't want to stop. And it was doing nothing for me. Like, I wasn't getting high. It's not like something that was bringing me joy now. Now it's something I needed so I can function throughout my day.
Well, what exactly was it doing for you? If it wasn't getting you a high, but you're describing it as something that was just removing your cares from the world, and to some degree, as you speak of that, I can almost understand why something like that would be so attractive, to not have to worry about stressors, or as an artist, people criticizing you online or whatever the case may be. But if it's not those things, if it just removed the care in the world, but it didn't give you that high, what was it about it that was so attractive?
To be honest, bro, I don't even know the answer to that. It was just, I guess it became a habit, and it was something I was used to.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if I stopped taking it, I'd get like super sick. Like, that feeling of I don't even know how to explain. If you've never gone through it, if you've never felt it,
Right.
I don't even know how to tell you how it feels. Like, it's just a brutal feeling. Like, I wouldn't wish that feeling on my worst enemy. Like, the feeling of withdrawal, of not having it, of not just talking about it makes me fucking bleh. It's bad.
What don't people understand about someone who's struggling with addiction?
Is that it's a sickness. It's like a disease. It's like cancer. Like, you say someone has cancer, you feel bad for that person. But you say this person's an addict, they don't feel bad for you. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
So there's still a stigma around it.
Yeah. And there's not enough attention brought to that. So take, for instance, if you have cancer or something, you do a treatment. You go through chemotherapy, or you do whatever the case is, those treatments. So in order for an addict to get help, do you know how expensive it is to get help? If you're, bro, rehab's like 50 grand, 30 grand, 20 grand. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to get help if you have to pay fucking $30,000 to get help?
Wow. I didn't know it was that expensive.
And so like, so take for instance, there's an injection I get. It's called Sublocade.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a form of Suboxone, which you probably don't know what Suboxone is. It's like an
don't
opiate
know.
replacement. So it's like you don't get the withdrawals. So it takes cravings away. It takes all those things away. And that's a pill form. But they have an injection, and it lasts for a month, 30 days. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to wake up in the morning, take a pill every day. You're fine for.
Oh, it's just a one.
It's a one. But
Okay.
that injection is like fucking $1,000.
Can get very expensive.
And then you go to a drug addict, be, well, would you rather pay $1,000 for this injection, or would you rather buy drugs? What are they gonna say?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. And like, I just feel like people are not getting enough help. I mean, there's people out there who want the help, but they don't know where to go, and two, it's just becoming too expensive.
Yeah.
So they just say, fuck it. Why would I do that? And in order to want to stop, you have to want to stop. Like, in order to be ready to stop that, you have to want to stop.
Do you want to stop?
Of course. I've been wanting to stop for a long time. I've stopped.
What was the trigger moment to make you you talked about how your brain, you just didn't want to for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
What had to happen for you to finally go, I want to stop?
To be honest, it was when I looked back at like photos of me, like while I was going through all that, and I just saw like I had no life. Like I was like a fucking just a body with no soul. And like I looked sick. I looked like, I'm not saying I look better now, but I'm just saying like I looked like that guy's life sucked. You know, like I don't want to go through what that guy's going through. And to think about all the shit that I've been through in the last fucking 12 years, bro, it's just like, people don't understand. You know, people are going to go online and they're going to say whatever the fuck they want to say about you, but they don't know what the fuck you went through. They don't know anything about you. They know what people tell you. That's it. They hear things from this person or they hear things from that person, but they don't actually know what it is I've went through or what I'm going through. You know, everyone's just like, oh, he's a fucking drug addict. Okay.
Are you comfortable sharing?
100%.
So what did
I've always made it open, bro. I've never hid it from anybody.
Right.
I've always been open and honest about this because maybe one day I can help somebody. But I'm saying, like, if someone came to me and be like, oh, you use drugs, I'm not going to lie. 100%. I mean, I'm a fucking human being, bro. What do you,
Right, yeah.
you know?
What
People go
was
through shit.
the hardest thing? What was the most difficult thing you had to lose to get to where you are today?
Probably my kids. I didn't really lose them, but the mom took them away and moved them across province. That shit was hard, bro.
And how do you feel about that now?
I'm working on getting them back. It's gonna take time, but whatever. It is what it is. They're good. I'm not worried about them.
Do you feel you've shown up as a father?
100%. When I was in their actual presence, I was the best dad in the world, bro. You know, just things happen, and like I said, it's out of my control. I can't go and change what happened.
Right. If you can, when you talked about seeing old photos of a young Danny, or Daniel for that matter, because you talked about two personas. So if you can go back and talk to young Daniel before all of this happened, what would you say?
To be honest, bro, I'm a very give you the shirt off my back kind of guy, and I don't have expectations for other people to do the same for me. But if I were to know or knowing what I know now, if I knew that back then, I would have been a completely different person. You know, everyone out there is like a grab kind of guy, you know, hey, give me this, give me this, give me this. But when it comes down to me, fucking bro, when this shit happened and people found out I was using drugs, all my friends gone. Like that. Disappeared. And these people couldn't do anything without me, bro. They couldn't go to clubs, they couldn't get into clubs, they couldn't bro. That shit hurt me more than, let's say, my kids being taken away from me. These people were like my family, bro. These guys were like closer to me than my own brothers. And for them to just pick up and just leave like that for no reason, not even trying to help me or ask me if I need help or anything like that, they just fucking dipped, gone, just like that. After everything I did for those people. That makes sense to me.
Was it all worth it?
No, definitely not.
The music career, the fame?
No. I mean, I love music. I love performing. I love doing all that shit. But I never did that because I wanted to be famous, bro. I just did it because I love music.
Yeah.
And I couldn't control what came with it, you know? At the same time, I don't regret it. Like, I loved my career. I loved what I'm 38 years old. I've accomplished...
You're a young man.
...more things in my life that people will ever do in 5 lifetimes, you know? I'm very content with my life right now, and just trying to fucking pick myself back up, to be honest.
What does that look like?
I'm doing like a lot of therapy and like, you know, talking to people is the hardest thing, especially people who don't understand. I'm mostly about like addiction and whatnot. Like, bro, I was depressed. I was devastated. I didn't want to do anything. All I cared about was doing that shit. That's it.
And as you go through this journey through therapy and all these things, what are you learning about addiction?
The more you gotta love yourself, bro. That's what it comes down to.
Did you love yourself at all?
Definitely not.
Why?
I just felt like I wasn't a good person. I'm not saying I wasn't a good person, but I felt like I wasn't
worth it.
Yeah, like I was a waste of fucking space.
That negative self-talk and
yeah, fuck you right up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knowing that, how do you come out of that? How do you counter that? Because that negative self-talk doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't.
It lives with you for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I believe it doesn't ever go away. It's about how you manage it.
It's like my bro, I'm gonna be a drug addict for the rest of my life. It's just how it is. Even though I'm not doing drugs, but I'll have that title attached to me forever. But to be honest, bro, I just try to wake up and just be positive all the time. You know, today's gonna be a good day. You know, I'm gonna do something for myself today. I'm gonna fucking go for a walk, or like affirmation, bro.
Yeah,
that's all it's about, to be honest. And you learn a lot of that shit, bro. I go to like meetings and groups and like 12 steps and all that shit, and it's all about being positive and doing something for yourself. You know, taking care of yourself, because I wasn't doing that for a very long time.
So what can, if someone knows someone's struggling with that, you talked about how your friends essentially ditched you in your moment of need. If I have a friend struggling with something like that, what could I do? How can I show up better for that friend?
Fuck. To be honest, I don't really think there's anything you can do. Just know, there's just that friend knowing that you're there if he needs something would be probably enough. Like, just so he feel like he doesn't he's not doing it alone. Like, so he's not by himself, you know? Because that's the worst feeling, bro. When you don't have anybody you can fucking go to.
Right. Because I wonder, you know, when you care about someone, when they go through a moment in their lives where there's a serious amount of struggle, that person can become self-destructive. And as a person on the outside watching that happen, you care for the person, you feel for them, you want to support them, you want to be there for them. But at some point, that self-destructiveness can start to bleed into your own life, and
100%.
You have to protect your peace. Is it possible that some of the people in your circle were doing that to protect their peace?
I have no idea.
You've never had a chance to have those conversations?
No.
Would you want to?
I mean, I don't really care anymore. At the end of the day, if they were, or if they cared about me in any sort of way other than the things that I was doing for them, I don't think they would have did what they did.
Or the way that they...
Or yeah.
So now in your recovery process, you said you're not doing drugs currently, and hopefully that lasts for a very, very long time for you. What is that? Walk us through what that process consistently looks like, because I think the thing that really stands out to me is that this isn't a, you know, if you had a flu, you go to the doctor, you get some antibiotics, you feel better, then you go back to normalcy. You're living with this essentially day in and day out, every minute of every day for essentially the rest of your life.
Yeah. Well, for the rest of your life.
What does that process look like?
I try to stay away from anything that's going to upset me. Because that's when I would use most, is when I was, like, someone would hurt my feelings or I'd get upset or something like that. I would just use and just forget about it. So I try to find things that make me happy and just try to. At the end of the day, bro, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you I don't think about it every day, because I do. But I also think about what it did, and that's kind of what gets me to the point where it's just like it's not worth it anymore. But fuck, bro. Like I said, I just try to stay positive. I wake up and today's a good day, you know. And the worst part is that when I was doing that, I didn't care about anything. So now that I'm not, everything is just like fucking like fastballs.
Well, now you're feeling it.
Yeah, every single fucking thing. I had no feelings, bro. I had no emotions when I was doing that shit. Like, you could look at me and talk to me, and I wouldn't be listening to you.
So if I met you in that stage, what would I have seen? What would I?
I mean, I wouldn't have been an asshole or anything like that.
Right.
I'm still like, at the end of the day, I was doing it, and people didn't even know I was doing it.
So you're functional.
Yeah, I was completely functional. It's just like certain things I just wouldn't care about. That's all.
How does someone avoid this trap? Because you talked about how you went to the dentist, you got the veneers, you didn't even take the meds right away because you didn't feel you needed them. But then you said, actually, I want to go there a moment. Then you said you decided you wanted to try them just to see.
Yeah.
Was there something happening?
Yeah, I was fucking... Okay, so the relationship just went terribly wrong. Things happened that I would never thought were going to happen. I was just sad. I didn't know what to do. So, and I'm not a big, like, weed guy. So I just said, you know what? Let me see what the fuck this will do. And took it, bro. And from that moment on, I said, I want to feel this way for the rest of my life. And I did for the next 10 years. That's fucked up.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Even doctors would be like, I don't know how you're alive, bro. The amount of shit I was doing, man, the doctors are like, you're like a fucking superhero. Not something to be proud of, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
Does it give you a newfound hope that you can turn your life around? I mean, it sounds like you're doing it in
anybody
in
can turn their life around, bro. You just gotta want to.
And you want to.
100%.
Yeah. So what drives you now? What's your motivation to not fall back into that?
To be honest, bro, I've been posting things on my Instagram, and I've been getting like a lot of positive feedback about so many things. Like people telling me, like, showing, like, not that I need fucking validation from anybody, but it makes me feel good to see that people still care, you know? Even people that don't know me or whatever the case is. It's just like I'm worth something, you know?
Do you believe you're worth something?
I definitely do.
Because you talked about the self-talk piece, right?
Yeah, I definitely know I'm worth
external
something.
validation is good. It's nice. Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
But if those comments turn sour, you know, I sincerely hope for you that doesn't send you down.
There's been some sourness, bro. But I've learned to like just put that in the back of my head and just forget about it.
I gotta ask you about something, because as part of my research into guests, you know, I try to find like what you've been up to the last little while. And I think just by the way you're looking at me, you know where I'm
I know
I'm
exactly
going with
where
this.
you're going with this.
But I feel obligated to hear in your words as opposed to what I just see online, because anybody who runs a search of Danny Fernandez
the
sees
first
it.
thing that pops up,
Yeah. What happened there? The way I understood it was you were working with aspiring artists, and there was some exchange of funds, and I understand that there's a legal process, and you know, there's some things that you can and can't speak about, and it's totally up to your comfort level here, so please feel free to stop me anytime. What happened there?
So I'll tell you what happened. So I think it was 3 people. So the first guy who actually initiated all of that, his name was
let's not name
okay
it.
So whatever. So this person, so I had done songs with this guy, I had shot music videos with this guy has come on stage with me and performed the songs, he's opened up for me in different shows. So now what this man thought was that he was going to be a fucking superstar. It doesn't work like that, bro. So he's like, okay, well, I'm giving you all this money, but nothing's happening. So how the fuck's that my fault? So clearly he wasn't happy with the outcome of whatever it is he thought he was going to get. Done. So he calls fucking whoever wrote that fucking shit. And then he got in touch with this person who I also did the same thing with. I flew to fucking Vancouver. I shot a music video with this guy. I recorded the song in the studio. Like, bro, all these things cost money. You're coming to me because you want something from me. I don't need anything from you. So this is what it costs. Same thing. And then he got in touch with the other guy, and it was like a circle of fucking bullshit. And then the worst part is that they didn't even come to me. The people who wrote the article didn't ask me my point of view of everything. So obviously they just want the fucking dirt. They don't care about all the good shit that I did, because they didn't mention any of those things that I did. They didn't mention I did music videos with these people. They don't mention that he did shows with me. They don't mention that. What did they say? I took his money. I didn't take fucking shit, bro. You paid me for the work I did. I don't steal from people. I don't take shit from people. I did the work, you paid me. Whatever happened after that, that's on you, that's not on me. And that's it. That's what happened.
So in that article, because I did end up reading it, it talked about how you put out an apology essentially saying because you were using drugs heavily at that time, you were just simply not yourself. Thoughts on that? Like, is that true?
It's definitely not true. Who said that?
It says
I didn't even read it, bro.
Okay.
I have no idea what the fuck it even says.
It said, again, I could be wrong, but the way I remember it was, and I read it this morning, it said that it quoted you as basically saying, you know, you apologized for it and that you were using drugs, but you just weren't in the right state of mind, and that's what happens when you use drugs, type of thing. And the reason I was asking about this was, again, because number one, if someone searches up what's Danny Fernandez been up to,
and that's fucked up that shit's there.
That comes up. But also, I'm really trying to understand what happens to a person when they are in that phase of just using drugs all the time, and how that can change a personality.
But these people also knew I was using drugs. Like I said, I didn't hide it from anybody.
Including the people that...
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I have nothing to hide from people.
Right.
And I never made any promises to any of those people, saying that I was going to make them fucking famous, because it doesn't work like that. I can't do that. And I don't think they understand the amount of work that goes into even having a start to your career.
Right.
Like, they thought they were going to meet me, they were going to be fucking famous. It doesn't work like that, bro. And I told them right from the beginning, it's all good, bro. At the end of the day, I can't control what people say or do. I just can control my shit. That's it.
So how do you feel today knowing something like that pops up? I mean, you and I briefly talked
what am I gonna do
a year and a
about it?
half ago.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're sitting face to face, and we're having this conversation, right? And it's not meant to poke at you. It's more so I'm trying to understand.
Well, I knew it was gonna come anyway. So
I'm trying to understand the psychology of where you were when, because you talked about the two personas.
And this happened like 5 years ago, bro. It didn't happen like yesterday. That shit was like, like 2018, 2019.
Is that at what point would you call the peak of your use?
I was bad, bro. I was real bad.
How often were you using?
Well, every day, all day. That's what I did. I'm still very curious, how do you come out of that? Is it just one day you wake up and go? No, it doesn't work like that. So first you have to detox yourself, which is like 5 days of death. And I did that.
That's the withdrawal that you're talking about.
I did that maybe like 7 times myself. It's the worst feeling in the world, bro. And then every time I would do it, I'd be like, why the fuck do I get back into it? And then I would get back into it, and then back and forth until the last time I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's like, it's so fucking brutal, man. I can't even explain it to you.
Try to help me understand what happens in those, because there could be someone listening.
So you
watching
don't sleep
this
for 5 days. So insomnia is out of this world. You're sweating, you're hot, you're cold, you're fucking shitting your brains out all day. Your legs are restless, you're nauseous, it's just, you don't eat, you don't sleep, and like, my mood is like, don't even talk, don't even look at me. That's how bad it is. It's just, I don't even know how to explain the feeling to you. It's just bad. Yeah.
And that's when you say 5 days, it's a standard, like,
yeah, it's like 4 or 5 days.
5 days.
And then you're not 100%, you're probably like 70%, but all the shit is out of your system.
Okay. And then what happens?
And then what happens when whatever you let happen.
Okay, so from there it's just a matter
from there
of
on, it's your life is starting all over again, without drugs.
What has to happen from here for you to believe you're winning this battle?
I already feel like I'm winning.
Good.
I mean, I like to think that I'm winning. Because every day that I'm not doing drugs, I'm winning, bro. That's how it is to me. Every day counts as a day.
And does the drugs piece also tie into alcohol, or is it just
no, I don't
specifically?
Drink.
You don't drink, okay.
No. It's not like I was doing fucking needles, and it was just like I was doing oxys, like pills.
Right.
I wasn't like fucking jabbing needles into my arm or doing coke or anything like that. It was just like that was my thing.
And this is something that was prescribed by a dentist?
Percocets, like painkillers.
Right. And can anyone just pick these up?
No.
So how
They have to be prescribed to you.
So how are you getting them?
I was buying them off the street, which you also have to be careful about.
Because they could be laced with anything
Like, or
else.
fake shit, yeah.
So what would you say then to someone currently struggling with addiction right now? Hearing this, listening to this, they happen across this, whatever fate or circumstances, they find themselves listening to you speak.
Honestly, I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. Bro, first of all, no one wants to go to somebody and be like, hey, I'm a drug addict. No one's going to say that to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you're having a conversation with somebody, all of a sudden, stop, I need to tell you something. Like, you're not going to fucking say that to somebody. But I feel like, bro, if you're able to, one, be open about it and talk to somebody about it, then that's a start. Because most of the people that are doing drugs are in denial. They don't think they have a problem. And I was like that for a very long time. But I feel like that's the beginning of it. Because then maybe that person can help you some way possible, or find somebody to help you, or if you don't ask for help, you're never going to get it. And that's the problem. We're ashamed to ask for help.
It's a hard thing to ask for help for.
Yeah. Because not a lot of people will know how to help you.
I mean, that's why I asked. I'm like, what could someone who knows someone struggling with something like this even do? Like, I wouldn't even know where to. I don't think there's anything. If you said, Samir, I need some help, I wouldn't even know where to point you, other than to say maybe go and seek professional help somewhere.
Yeah, that's the only answer to that question.
So what happens from here? Like, what's the path forward? How do you feel like you're living a normal life?
Normal? Yeah, I guess so. What's normal?
Fair. Yeah. What is normal these days?
I don't know. But I feel like I'm doing all right now.
What would you say to your fans? You talked about how, when you post something on social media, you see the
I mean, the fans who are still with me till this day, they know that I'm a human being and that I make mistakes and that I'm just a regular person. You know what I mean? And they don't, at the end of the day, I'm not doing anything that's affecting them, realistically. So anybody who is still here and who's still rocking with me, then they understand, and they're fans, So, and I appreciate that.
What about the ones that saw the downfall and said, I can't support this anymore?
Then that's on them, bro. I can't say anything about that.
There's nothing you would want to say to them?
That's their choices. Like I said, bro, I have never done anything to those people for them to even say that way, But even look at Bieber, bro. He still has fans. That kid has not done some fucked up shit, but like he's
had his challenges.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Everyone has challenges, bro. Just because I'm in the spotlight and they see something bad happening, they can't judge me on that because they don't know what really happened.
Right.
All they know is what they hear or what they see.
You talked about your kids a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a conversation about that? I'm not gonna necessarily pry into why the kids aren't in your life anymore, but I'm curious about your perspective on fatherhood in general. How old are your kids, if I may ask?
7 and 4.
And when was the last time you saw them?
Last year.
It's a long time.
Mm-hmm. I went 2 years without seeing them. They've been gone for like 3 years now. August this year will be 3 years.
And what have you learned from that entire process of just not being able to see them?
I feel like, to be honest, my kids made me a better person, bro. Like, they were my life, I lived for them. Nothing else mattered except for those fucking kids. And then when they were gone, I was a disaster, bro. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know that they left. Like, they were just gone. And like, even that, like, I feel like I don't want to speak bad about her because she's a great mother, but I feel like she knew that that was going to make me worse. By doing something like that was going to make matters worse in my part, in my end, like drug-wise.
Were you using at the time?
Mm-hmm.
So then it makes me question again.
But I wasn't using it in front of my kids. I wasn't bringing drugs into my home. I was like doing it if I went to my car and then came back inside. I didn't bring anything into the house. So like, you know.
So it makes me question.
And it didn't. At the end of the day, I want you to understand something. When I say I was using drugs, just because I say that doesn't mean I was fucking acting like an idiot, or it was just making me normal.
I see.
Or what my version I thought normal was. Like I wasn't like being stupid or anything. Like I was just normal. Because I didn't want to get sick, so I was just using the drugs just to be able to function in my day.
Right.
Like it wasn't making me act dumb or do anything fucking stupid. It was just like I just needed it so I can live. Like it was that high point was gone a long time ago. Now I was just doing it so I can maintain my life. So at the end of the day, it's not like I was fucking acting like a retard, or excuse my language, I shouldn't say retard, but like acting dumb or doing anything inappropriate.
Right. So if I was a fly on the wall watching these interactions happen, I would have just seen a normal Daniel.
A great fucking dad. I did everything for those kids. My oldest daughter was like my sidekick, bro. I did everything with her. Dance, swimming, soccer, fucking gymnastics. She was like a little model, so I did auditions with her, commercials. Like that kid was with me everywhere. You know? And all of a sudden, just boom, gone. Broke me.
Do you feel where you're at today in your life, in your recovery, that you could be the father you want to
100%. 1,000,000%.
What kind of father? What does Daniel look like as a father?
Bro,
with his kids?
Those kids were, like I said, they were my life, bro. I woke up in the morning, I took my daughter to school, picked her up from school, I made her lunches to go to school. So the mom worked. So from 7 a.m. to like 7, 8 p.m. she'd work. And those kids would be mine all day. Imagine spending that much time with your kids and then one day waking up and they're not there anymore. That's fucked up. When I say I did literally everything with those kids, I did everything with those kids, bro. I set up a pool in our front yard, or like just shit to like, you know, take my daughter on bike rides or fucking like anything. I was a dad. I did things dads do. You know?
And if you could say something to them right now, what would you want them to know?
The thing is that they don't know like about my addiction or anything like that. They're too young, but I just don't want them to think that I don't want them, you know, because that's not the case. Like I wish every day that I had them. So yeah, I still talk to them, but it's not the same. They're young. You go on FaceTime and they're fucking distracted in 2 seconds and then the phone call ends, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
When you talk about being a rising artist, the fame generally comes with money. With money comes the ability to buy things you've never had, experience things you never thought you would. And I'm not trying to stereotype, but anytime I've read stories or heard stories about artists, creatives who've come into money and then find themselves struggling with an addiction, they generally spend frivolously on that addiction. Has that been something that you've also had to deal with over the years?
Spending a lot of money on drugs?
Yeah.
100%. Probably a couple million, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Makes me sick to my stomach.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not cheap, bro.
No, they're not.
And like throughout my my addiction, at least a couple million, easy.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it hurts me to say that.
I mean, thank you for sharing that, but that's a lot of money.
Well, these days $2 million can't get you anything.
Well, maybe not in Toronto.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I'm fascinated by this. I'm curious. Maybe fascinated is not the right word. I'm curious. There's such complexity here. And I can, I get the sense that you're trying.
Trying and like what?
Like trying to be better, do better every day.
100%.
And I can't imagine what that's like.
Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. Because every time I feel like I'm doing better, then something happens, and it's just like brings me back to like, what the fuck,
And the temptation is always there.
Yeah, it'll always be there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have the injection in my stomach, so I really can't do it. It doesn't allow me to do it.
So
Like it blocks it. Like, so if I were to do it, nothing would happen.
What do you mean by injection in your stomach?
So I have that. Remember we were speaking about the injection.
Oh, the one per month.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I have it. So I can't. It doesn't really allow me to do anything. It like completely blocks it.
So with that injection, if you were to take a pill,
Nothing would happen.
Interesting. Okay.
So it'd be a waste of time and money.
How easily accessible is this?
It's not.
So someone who may not necessarily have the
So
resources.
what you'd have to do is you'd have
access.
to go on the Suboxone first for like a week,
Yeah.
like the pill form. Well, you'd have to go to like an addictions doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd see them. They'd give you the Suboxone, but the problem is the Suboxone. You can take the Suboxone, but you can still use after. So I feel like they should just do the injection like right away instead, but you can't because you need to have that chemical in your body in order to get the injection. What I want to do, to be honest, is I want to open some sort of clinic where they give that for free to people who are serious and people who want to quit using drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's my goal right now, is to be able to help people going through what I went through, and not have to pay for it. That's just
You said it was expensive.
It's like $1,000.
So
and
where
it's
does
not covered by
who's-
OHIP. It's not covered by anything. You just got to pay $1,000.
And for those who don't know what OHIP is, it's basically our healthcare system. Yeah. I can't imagine there's a lot of people that can afford that.
No, it probably isn't. Even like insurance companies, when they don't cover the whole thing, they probably cover like 80% of it. So you still have to pay like $200.
Which for some people,
It's still
especially
fucking
today, is still a
expensive.
lot. Yeah.
Fuck,
That extra
crazy.
$200 on top of everything else that's rising in prices and all those
Yeah,
things
crazy, bro.
can make or break a person's finances.
Yeah.
How far away are you from doing something like that? It's an honorable thing to try
I'd say
and help
probably
other
by
people.
end of the year. I'm already in talks with some people.
Yeah.
I can't do it by myself, that's for sure.
No, something like that I imagine takes
Yeah.
a village to put together.
I'd have to find like a clinic, because there's not a lot of clinics who issue that. So I'm even the clinic that does it with
The
me.
injection itself. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of addiction doctors out there who think. So I've been talking to my doctor about it, and the clinic where I do it. And I'm trying to find a place that we could just focus on that, getting people better.
Every time you walk in every month to get this injection, what's going through your mind?
Another month. I'm winning.
Gets tiring.
Oh yeah. But at the end of the day, if I want to stop the injection, I can stop it because I won't get sick now. Like I'll never feel that sick feeling again.
The withdrawal, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you
Because the
don't,
injection, you're supposed to get it every 28 days, but it lasts longer and it slowly goes away, so that you don't get the withdrawal feeling, which is good. But I feel like if I were to stop right now, I wouldn't be ready to stop. Like I'll just keep going until I feel like I'm good.
right. How many more do you think you need?
I don't know.
Just until you feel it.
Just until I feel like I'm ready to be without it.
What about the music career?
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna put some stuff out.
So it's something that you're hoping
But at
to.
the same time, if nothing happens, I'm not gonna be upset about it. I did my thing, bro. I was good. I did what I had to do. I was happy about what happened. Nothing comes out of it. Nothing comes out of it. At least I tried.
Yeah. And in terms of when you talked about the circle of friends that you had, or the ones that you thought were your circle of friends, what does your circle of friends today look like?
2 people.
Smaller circle is better.
Way better.
Yeah. And why? What have you learned from that experience that allows you to pick better friends today?
Well, these friends are still the friends that I had when I was doing all that my whole career.
I see.
They're the only ones that stuck by.
Yeah.
All the other ones that There was like 5 people I had that were close to me, and 3 of them left, and 2 of them stayed.
What do you want those 2 to know?
I love them. They're like my brothers. I'd do anything for those fucking guys. Straight up, I would. I'd kill for them.
Well, let's hope that.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
So, I'm really trying to, I guess, piece together the process of falling into this, and I know we've touched on.
Well, you'll
this.
never understand, bro.
And maybe that's the case.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to understand it better
understand.
so that I can.
I wish I can
understand you better.
Yeah, no, you'll never understand it. People will die trying.
So, what are the signs then of someone who's struggling with addiction? Because if you said to me, if I saw you in 2019,
yeah, but everyone's different. I mean, like if I was using drugs, I'd be nodding off right now, falling asleep right here.
Okay,
that's one sign. I'm trying to think. I know for the drug I was using, that's the sign. But like other drugs, I don't know because I don't. I mean, someone doing coke would be bouncing off these walls right now. That's for sure.
right.
Or like that kind of shit.
Or the constant.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I sniffle a lot too, but I don't know, bro.
I guess I'm just trying to better understand how we can help, even when you're not a professional like myself. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But
neither am I.
I want to be able to.
I
at
just
least
know what it's like because I've been through it. That's it.
Right. What I would like to be able to do, or I'm sure someone listening to this might know someone or have a family member struggling with addiction in some way. I'm sure somebody would want to know, okay, so what could I do? How can I nudge you in the right direction? Who can I call?
Here's the thing, bro. You can't force them to do anything because you're not going to help them like that.
So if someone comes...
That's why when I see these videos on Instagram of people saying, oh, you need to go to rehab, I'm going to put you in rehab. Bro, don't do that shit. They don't like that shit. What you're doing is you're putting them in a situation where they feel forced to do that. And if they do end up doing that, they're not going to want to be there. So whatever you think that they're going to learn, they're not going to learn because all they're going to think about is fucking doing drugs. I can promise you that. Because that was me, bro. I was forced like 5 times to go into fucking rehab. And I'm just like, I don't want to be here. And I can't wait to fucking get out of here. Like, you can't do that to a fucking addict. That's the worst thing you can do to an addict. Is try to force them to do something.
But then it sounds like the alternative is just to let them be.
Yeah, and let them figure it out themselves.
If
they want help, they'll come to you and ask you for it. That's what I feel.
But in that moment when you were at your lowest point, you were doing drugs, the most you were you even in the state of mind to ask for help?
No, I didn't want it.
So if someone was there watching that happen,
yeah,
how could they have helped you, right?
Yeah.
Like it sounds like the alternative, and I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. Like that's part of the complexity of this whole thing is they could be sitting there thinking to themselves, okay, if I can't offer you help because I have to wait for you to come to me, but I'm watching you self-destruct and blow up your life, then what am I going to do? Or what do? I care about you. I care about your well-being. I care about your family.
Just
your
have
health.
a conversation with them and say, just listen, when you're ready for help, just come ask me and I'll help you.
So it's just letting them know you're there.
That you're there. That if they need something, you're there.
And how do you... This is a tough one here. And this is actually from experience now. Someone who is an addict is self-destructing. You're offering to help them. They don't want to help because they don't think anything is wrong.
Yeah, denial.
But their self-destruction is bordering on self-harm.
On themselves?
Yeah. What do you do? And I'm not saying that you're going to know the answer or have the right answer, but...
I have no idea, bro. I've never been in that situation before. I'd call somebody.
Yeah.
If you see that these people, you think they're actually going to hurt themselves, call like cops or something and say, listen, these people are out of control. Yeah. That could be another good thing is having someone get put in jail because there's no drugs in jail.
Forced detox.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want anybody to go to jail, but sometimes that's the best fucking scenario.
Right.
You know?
I guess all's to say there's just not enough And maybe I just don't know.
There's not enough awareness. There's not enough
what I was
fucking
gonna
attention
say.
brought into it because
Yeah.
people just brush it off like it's nothing. But people dying every day, bro.
Well, the point you made earlier about how you'll tell someone, hey, that person is currently dealing with cancer, for example,
Yeah.
and you feel bad.
Yeah.
But if you say that person's an addict, you go,
Yeah.
oh, stay away from me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like it's contagious.
Yeah. It's like, don't go near that fucking person.
Yeah.
Because that's what they teach you.
So how do you change the narrative on that?
I wish I could tell you. I have no idea.
Well, what would you need to happen for people to understand you better, so that they're not judging you?
To be honest, bro, I there's a show on Disney Plus. It's called Dope Sick. Michael Keaton's in it.
Okay.
Bro, it's my life in a fucking series. He's a doctor, okay, and it's about Purdue Pharma, the people who originated OxyContin.
Okay.
So he's prescribing all these people this drug that Purdue Pharma is saying that is only 1% addictive, which is lying. So, and everyone's getting addicted and all these people are dying, and then he gets into a car accident, Michael Keaton, and then he gets prescribed it and then he turns into an addict. Bro, if you have time, watch that shit, bro. It'll change your whole perspective on addicts in general, and it shows you what they go through from detoxing, from fucking everything. It's crazy, bro. It's such a good show.
What's it called?
Dope Sick.
Dope.
That's the
sick.
term when you're going through a withdrawal. People call it dope sick.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's one on Netflix called Painkiller. It's the same idea, the same.
The painkiller one, I think I've seen, the one with
Yeah.
Chris Evans. The
No,
movie, or you're talking
no.
about?
I know which one you're talking about, where he's selling the
Yeah.
thing. No, it's not the same thing.
Okay.
Painkiller is the same story behind the Dope Sick one.
Oh,
But I feel
see.
like Dope Sick is better than Painkiller. But it's the
Right.
same idea, same story. But Painkiller doesn't show as much intensity as the Dope Sick one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I want to know about is what's next for Danny and what's next for Daniel. Do you still struggle with that, the two identities?
No, not so much, bro.
Do you go by Danny, or do you go by
Daniel is my name.
But do you like?
I go
you
by
introduce
Daniel.
Yourself.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
people?
Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, bro, I'm just gonna focus on myself. Try to get back to where I was at, with or without music. To be honest, I just want to be happy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm on the road to happiness, I guess you could say.
If you can describe a happy life for Daniel, what would that look like?
To be honest, bro, just being a family again, having my kids back, doing dad stuff. I've always wanted to be a dad my whole life, I'm a pretty simple guy, bro. I don't ask for much, man. I'm not an asker. I'm very easygoing. I'm very chill. I just want to be happy, bro. That's it, man.
Well, Daniel, thank you for sharing your story with me, man.
No problem, bro.
I appreciate the honesty. I can't imagine that this is a very easy conversation to
definitely
have. I mean,
it's
you
not
and I
good.
just met the first time
That's all
like
good.
40 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But this is an important conversation.
100%. It's not a
Because
conversation. It needs to happen more.
Absolutely, I agree. I think there's a lot of people who struggle with addiction in various forms, right? And some of it is drugs, others is other forms,
All sorts
alcohol,
of yeah.
video games, social
Sex,
media,
everything.
sex, porn. There's all sorts of addiction out there that I think are still stigmatized.
Yeah.
And more needs to be done. More conversations at least need to be had to destigmatize those things. So I mean, like when you say that there's a show on Disney Plus about something like this, I
Yeah.
go, that's actually a really good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
That they're showcasing like this is what happens.
This is real life.
Here's a visual
Yeah.
to show you what it looks like. We're not just describing it,
Yeah. You
right?
could see it with your own
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
One final question. If you could say one thing, or rather, what's one thing you say to yourself daily? Because you talked about how this is a daily
Yeah,
process.
I like to tell myself it's gonna be okay.
Hmm.
That's it. It's gonna be okay. You're
Good
gonna
for
be
you.
all right.
Yeah. Daniel, thank you so much.
No problem. Well, thank you.
I appreciate your time. I wish you the best of luck in this journey of yours. I sincerely hope you're able to open up that clinic.
Yeah, me too.
And who knows, maybe if you're able to open up that clinic, you know, you can help a ton of other people as well.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Amazing. Daniel, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.